What's up, fellow Vanguard nerds? I'm Babblerab, and right here is the first build of my Chouchou deck that I just finished today. It's a Tirua build. Tirua, I don't know. And so far from the testing I did against Ghost Clones build of the deck, which I may or may not see, or I may or may not ask him to try or to show it on the channel or not. The deck's really fun. The resource management in this is absolutely insane. You get punished like super hard if you mess up your combos and everything, so it's really skill based and deck knowledge based. But overall, I really enjoy playing it from the few games I've played so far. So yeah, I figured that since no one has really posted any Chouchou decks so far, I might as well possibly give everyone who's watching kind of a reference point to start their Chouchou decks with, and then they can make adjustments as you choose. So yeah, there's probably gonna be like a ton of like other Chouchou decks that get posted over the next day or so, but yeah, this one is mine. There are many like it, but this Chouchou deck is mine. So let's jump to it. So first starter, we have Chouchou, what the heck? Hulala. Chouchou Hulala? Good name. So what she does is you put her into your soul. When your other rearguards put into your deck, you can pay the cost. If you do, you choose up two cards with Chouchou and their card names from your hand and call them to separate rearguards in the same column. I was doing some testing with this card when I was playing against Ghost Clone, and the same column thing bit me in the butt a few times where I was trying to set up a field and I wanted something here and something here, but they have to be in the same column. So that kind of hurts a little bit, but I guess I understand why. But overall, it's still a pretty solid card. Your other option is the, let me see if I can find the thing. That'll take a while. Your other option is the one that when something's put in the bottom of the deck, you think you counterblast one, return to your hand, draw a card. So it's not bad either. My mentality when building this was just I want to attack as many times as possible. So that's kind of why I was just like, I'm going to use this one right here. So, you know, it's a good reason. 4 heal, pretty standard. The Tirua crit, I'm probably butchering that name so hard. So you put her into your soul. Well, it's not the Tirua crit, it's just a Chouchou crit. Put her into your soul. At the end of the battle that your Vanguard with Chouchou and its card name attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, you draw a card. You choose one card with Chouchou and its card name and call it to rearguard and it gains 4k. Depending on what you go into, this thing's pretty solid. It's there when you don't have like a really big stride play that you have planned. It doesn't, and from my testing, it didn't combo too well with her. But, I mean, in the early games it combos, or in the early stages of the game it combos pretty well with her, but as it goes on, let me just get the name here. When Lapria is like starting to bounce your entire field to your bottom of your deck, it's not even a bounce anymore. When your Lapria is like putting the bottom of your entire field to the bottom of your deck, she starts getting infinitely less useful. But if you're not using Lapria, she's pretty useful. So yeah, for lack of a better description. Chouchou is also a deck that relies very heavily on Soul and Counterblast at the same time. You have lots of effects that you want to be using like crazy, and you will run out of Counterblast and Soul very quickly. So the ability to have 2 triggers, the other one being the draw trigger, that can put itself into your Soul is very important. And then we're playing another 4 crits, just the vanilla ones from the trial deck. And then 4 of the draw trigger. Draw trigger is pretty simple. It just puts itself into your Soul and give a unit 3k. The 3k can or cannot be helpful depending on what card you have. So yeah, that's a grade 0. 4 heal, 8 crit, 4 draw. Grade 1s is 4 copies of Tino. Her skill's there, it's just there's so many other skills that I'm getting off that I don't see myself, that I didn't use her skill too much. But it's better than the vanilla Chouchou one, just due to, or better than a vanilla Chouchou PG, just because you can, you know, if you need to, you can get her back. So there's that. So it's not bad. This card, through the 4 or 5 games I played with Ghost Clone, I was using pretty much constantly. It's the first effect primarily. It's basically check top 7, reveal something with Tirua. How do you pronounce that name? From among them, add it to your hand, and then you have to discard cards from your hand with their sums being grades up to 3. So this thing basically ensures that the only thing you ever ride on your Vanguard circle is Tirua. So that's pretty good. And then her other effect is Soul Blast 1 at the end of your turn. Soul Blast 1, put her at the bottom of your deck. At the end of your turn, you pay the cost if you do Counterblast 1. But you need a Tirua, so yeah. Still, in my opinion, a really solid card, and I used it very heavily over the course of the few games I was testing this against Ghost Clone. And then 4 of Marl. You +1, choose one of your rear guards with Chouchou in its name, put it at the bottom of your deck. At the end of the battle, that boosted a Vanguard with Chouchou in its card name. You pay the cost. If you do draw a card, choose one card from hand, call it to rear guard. I didn't really use her skill too much during the games, but again, I don't actually, or haven't actually like played this deck enough to really get an idea of whether or not I'm going to use the skills or not. But just based on the bit of testing, there's some cards that I haven't used the skills too much on, and they may or may not be going, or I'll just do a bit more testing first before I make that decision. So yeah, she's not too bad though. She, like, I think I got her effect off, like, or I used her effect once because I wasn't using Lapria, but yeah. 3 copies of Chouchou Praire. I didn't use her, like, I haven't used her effect a single time yet over the course of like the 4 or 5 games. On paper this is good because you Soul Blast and you get a full column when you call her. In practice, I found myself like very rarely actually getting that effect off just because I've got other cards in front of her, and it's just like, I would love to use this skill, but there's nothing, or there's no room in her column to use the skill, and I don't intend on going and wasting, or going and retiring one of my Chouchou rearguards that has yet to attack just so I can give her a buddy. Like, if you had a rested Chouchou rearguard, it's great, but it's just, until I get more used to the deck, I haven't currently been using it that much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Grade 2's 2 Chouchou Ayana. 3, sorry. So what she does is you put her into the bottom of your deck when your rearguard with Chouchou and its card name is put into the deck. You can pay the cost. If you do, you draw a card, choose one card with Chouchou and its card name from your hand, call it to rearguard, and it gains 3k. I didn't use the effect of this thing too much, but I did... Like, I haven't used the effect of her too much yet. But one thing I did try, because I think it didn't specify the timing, is I had 1 face down damage. This was during one of the practice games again. And I used her skill to Soul Blast a card, unflip a damage. And then, don't remember what the heck I called, but it was at the end of the turn. I used that to countercharge the damage, and then after resolving this skill, I went and activated this skill, because something was put at the bottom of the deck, and I was able to get that effect off, which drew me another card, and then I think it just called a grade 2 up to the front row. So I had an extra intercept plus an extra card, so that was kind of cute. Again, this is how the deck has been performing based off of 4 practice games since I just built the deck today, so this probably will change. You'll probably see other Chouchou decks, but this is again the initial build of the deck. And then she was just, during all of the practice games, Listella was just doing so many things. Because you basically, I mean, yeah, Listella was doing quite a bit. Basically, you Soul Blast 1, I'm just going to read it again. Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rearguards with Chouchou and card name, put it at the bottom of your deck. When it attacks a Vanguard, you can pay the cost. If you do, you draw a card, gains 2k, so it turns itself to an 11k attacker, and you get hand advantage. Basically, the whole gimmick of Chouchou is put all their stuff on the bottom of the deck, refill their hand. Afterwards, it's sort of like Great Nature, except bottom of deck instead of drop zone. So they can basically grind, which is nice. And then this card I absolutely loved as well, Blanche. She Soul Blast 1s, you choose one of your rearguards with Chouchou and card name, put it on your deck again. When it's placed on rearguard, you pay that cost, check top 4, reveal 1 card with Chouchou and its card name that isn't Chouchou Blanche from among them, put into your hand shelf your deck, and then she gains 2k if you do that. So what my thoughts are on the thing so far is this is basically your searcher and your consistency, so I would recommend playing 4, solely due to the fact that if there's cards you need to see, the ability for you to be able to check top 4 and add any Chouchou from your deck, from those 4 to your hand, I think is too invaluable to pass up on. So that's kind of my mentality there, is just like really, really consistent. I looked at this thing when I was coming up with this deck and I was just like, okay, you're a 4 of automatically. Because, again, tutor's for the most part what you need. It's like, I mean, it's not tutor, but you know what I mean. It's consistency that the deck probably needs. So yeah, grade 3s, 4 Tirua. What she does, I think everyone has read it, but when it strides, you counter +1, reveal top card of your deck, and if that happens to be a Chouchou, you add it to your hand. Then it gives the other effect, if you do that, to put one of your units at the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So it's a +2 there. And then her other one is if you have one or less rearguard on the field, you get to stride for free. You are, like, if you're playing this correctly, you're going to use that so many times. So it doesn't, like, the last effect is just absolutely glorious. I've strode, like, free so many times. I just felt absolutely filthy doing it. But that's because I'm used to having to pay for my stride cost. And the best part about Chouchou is that if you're playing the deck correctly, you should have nothing on your field for the most part. Maybe one rearguard at most. But even during your opponent's turn, you can literally just G-guard your cards off the field with Leona and the new Chouchou G-guard, and you can end with like almost nothing on the field. Like, I've gone and just guarded recklessly just because I need to set up for like my next turn, and then you just draw a crap ton of cards during your next turn. You're like, I don't care, let's go, boys. So, really, really good. I was initially running Chouchou Melvies solely due to the fact that she's Counterblast 1, you choose a grade 2 and a grade 1 Chouchou from hand, and Superior call them to the same column when she attacks, and again, it's the same cost of put it at the bottom of your deck, so that was useful. I'm kind of going back and forth between Melvies and Muritz. Muritz is a free cost, and you take one Chouchou from your field, put it to the bottom of your deck, and then you choose one grade 2 or lower Chouchou in his card name from your hand. Call it to rear guard, it gains 4k, so it's like, it comes down to the question, do I want to get 2 cards, like a full column, which could have additional effects that could be useful, or do I just want to get 1 card that hits harder? So I'm kind of going back and forth between Melvies and Muritz at the moment, but the current one I was trying for the remainder of the test games was Muritz, but I did start using Melvies just because it had an interesting effect on paper. I'm probably going to go back and forth between these 2 cards because there's a lot of benefits that both of them have. And based, what I could end up doing, just since Blanche exists, I could literally just go 2 and 2, but we're going with this for now. We might go back to Melvies, I might try 2 and 2, we'll see what happens. So that's all the grade 3s. And then we're going to get to the G-Zone. Okay, so for the G-Zone, we are running one copy of... I am running one copy of Chouchou Lillinel. During all the practice games, I think I strode it once. And Ghost Clone didn't have the stuff to guard it, so I actually got the put at the bottom of the deck, draw 2 effect off, and then just went to town after that. So it's not bad, it's an on-hit, so if you need a first stride where you don't want to invest into Lapria the first time, she's not bad, but I really think that she's not that necessary, so I may just cut her for something else. And then playing 4 Lapria. Her skill is Counterblast 1, I'm just going to read it. Counterblast 1, choose a face-down card with the same name as her. From the G-Zone, turn face up. When she attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 2 of your rearguards for each face-up card in your G-Zone, and then put them at the bottom of your deck in any order. And then you draw cards draw the same number of cards as the number of cards you put. And then if you have a heart card with Chouchou in its name, you get draw 1 more. So off of her as a first stride, from what I think this works is, you are going to return 2 cards from your rear guard to the bottom of your deck. You're going to draw 2, and then you're going to draw 1 more because you have a Chouchou heart card. What's more important is that she's also generic, so if you do want to run her in like some other Bermuda decks, that is an option. It's just at the moment I haven't really gone and delved into what decks could possibly want to use her yet. Maybe like Pacifica or something, I don't know. But yeah, she's really solid. In addition, the last part of her effect, sorry, it's more stuff. If you go and draw 4 more cards off of the effect, you can choose up to 5 cards from your hand and call them to separate rearguards, and that doesn't say Chouchou, so that could mean if you were to go like a Spica or something, Spica, or something from the effect, then, you know, you could call that. So that's pretty good. But yeah, 4 because I see myself getting through all 4 of them in a game. And then 2 copies of Ange. You're burning through Counterblast so fast you actually don't like usually have the means to fulfill her effect. But it's good if, like, I guess you're against Link Joker or something where they're locking your whole field, and then you just say, I'm gonna just bounce all the lock cards back because I don't care anymore. So there's that, and the quad drive's nice, but yeah, at the moment when I was testing it during the games against Ghost Clone, I didn't actually use Ange at all. I might just, what I could do is like just put the 2 GB8s in there, which I think I was running at the time, but then I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because Chouchou is counter and Soul Blast heavy, so we'll have to see how that all works out. And then 4 Olivia, or you could do 2 Olivia, 2 GB8. Yeah, I think I got to the GB8 like once or twice. during the playtesting. So the GB8 is viable in this deck because you are unflipping stuff quite a bit. But like you could still go into Olivia. Olivia works quite nicely with Chouchou because you can bounce 1 or 2 off, and as long as you can keep the at least three rear guards on the board, then Olivia's effect is live, and then you just get a new field, which is basically new attacks. And if you haven't gone through like much counterblast at all, then you just go to town, and then they get really sad. So yeah. So for the G guards, typically what I determined was that you want stuff that's going to remove rear guards that are sitting on your field from your field during their turn, just because you want to set up for Tirua's effect and whatnot. So after 1 game, I decided, okay, well, Leona's good. Probably shouldn't use Citron since that does the opposite of what I want to do. So I cut the Citron from the deck and play 2 Leona. And then 2 of the Chouchou G Guard because she's Soul Blast 1. Put something on the bottom of your deck, she gains 5k, plus you draw a card, so that's win-win. So this is good because you can guard harder and such, and then this is good because it gives you a card in your hand. Both do the thing where you remove 1 of your rear guards from the field during your opponent's turn, which is, again, important because you want to get that free stride. And then this is kind of just a in theory card, 1 copy of Sandy, solely due to the fact that Chouchou draws a ton of cards at the end of their turn, so you'll have like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards in your hand. So for every 2, she's going to get 5k shield, so if like they swing with a really big number, you can like G-guard with Sandy, and then you're going to get like just colossal guard boosts. So yeah, that was the first build of my Chouchou deck. I didn't expect to have as much fun playing this during the testing as I actually did. I absolutely love this deck. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions about the deck, leave it in the comment section below. If you have any questions for me about the deck, same thing, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to attempt to answer them, but I am nowhere near a Chouchou expert at the moment. If I play this deck enough, I'll probably gain more experience in it. But yeah, so as I said before, anything you want to talk about regarding Chouchou, leave it in the comments and I will respond to you guys. Other than that, I'm Babblerab and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.